People continue freaking out about the Trump administration's ICE operation in Minneapolis. We've got more videos of leftists melting down. And if you believed everything on NPR, maybe you would too. You would also be in the midst of a midlife crisis meltdown. Listen to this report from NPR's Up First this morning. As you know, I listen so you don't have to.
And I should note the observers filming and making noise. Those peaceful acts of resistance, even though they're chaotic, are protected by the Constitution. But ICE has responded to some confrontations over the last week with a lot of aggression. Over the last 5 days, NPR reporters, myself included, we've seen ICE officers using tear gas, flashbangs, and pepper balls to disperse crowds. But the community here, it's responding in quieter ways, too.
Well, say more about that, if you would. How so?
Yeah, so if you drive around the Twin Cities, you'll see parents and other community members standing guard outside of schools and daycares with whistles around their necks. Residents are collecting food donations and giving rides to people who are afraid to leave the house.
Aww.
And people are afraid to leave their homes. And these fears, being afraid to leave the house, they're not unfounded. NPR reporters have witnessed immigration officers stopping and even detaining people of color, seemingly at random on the street.
Oh, seemingly. What did you do to satisfy yourself, NPR, that it was just at random? And by the way, most of the illegals are indeed people of color. Okay, sorry, they're all coming from Venezuela, which means they're brown. It's not a racist thing. It's a country thing, a nationality thing. They don't stop just any brown person. They stop the people who are on a list that they have figured out got in, most of them under Joe Biden's presidency, who are here illegally, like the 3 Venezuelans who attacked the ICE officer 2 days ago. I mean, like the ICE, they appear to be stopping people of color at random. Meanwhile, just for good measure, here they are proving their bona fides over at NPR of actual Latina and Latino knowledge. Here is the guy A. Martinez, who wants you to know he totally understands how to pronounce the Latin words the right way. Here he is. Listen, SOT 3.
Venezuela's leading opposition figure came to Washington, D.C. to meet with President Trump for the first time and presented him with her Nobel Peace Prize.
Maria Corina Machado is making a push to remain part of Venezuela's future after the U.S. military operation that led to the seizure of deposed leader Nicolás Maduro. Trump has sidelined Machado and is backing Venezuela's acting president, who at the same time yesterday was in Caracas giving a defiant and at times compliant speech before lawmakers.
Caracas. Okay, we get it, A. Martinez. We get it, okay? I'm Megyn Kelly, but when we do stories about Ireland, I'm not like, oh, lassies, time to get out of the bar. I don't know if that was an Irish accent or not. It's just absurd. All of this is absurd, okay? No mention in the NPR report of the ICE officer ambushed Wednesday night or of the crimes committed by the illegal immigrants ICE is lawfully targeting. Nothing about the violent protesters who literally ransacked a federal vehicle, including its weapons locker, grabbing the rifle, putting the emails and the address information for ICE officers out into the public. I didn't hear anything about getting beaten with a shovel and a broom handle to where the ICE officers in the hospital. Nothing. It's just, they're just standing guard with their whistles. They're so sweet. And also here is news from Caracas. Joining me now to react to all of this and more, one of our very favorites and yours, Maureen Callahan is here. She's host of The Nerve with Maureen Callahan on the MK Media Podcast Network. Go and subscribe right now to all of her platforms. TheNerveShow.com will bring you there, or just go into podcast and type in The Nerve. You will figure it out, and you'll be glad you did. Maureen, hi.
Hi.
I mean, can you get over the NPR virtue signaling and lies?
This story. I mean, as it develops, I find it really upsetting. Actually, I really, really do. When you see this footage on the news, that I know the most recent one was that woman being dragged out of a car.
Yeah, that's Florida.
Right. Okay. And then you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this is horrifying. And then you read in a little bit more, and it's like, well, was she attempting to block ICE from doing what they were doing by they're triangulating all these cars, citizens? And I feel like, I did a column on this, and I just feel like we are in this culture of escalation where the streets feel unduly militarized in a way. I don't enjoy seeing federal agents pepper spraying and violently pulling people out of cars, women especially. I don't like it. But I also don't like being told that these are peaceful protests when they're not. And that, we're still learning about what happened with Renee Good. When we got more, this is what's going to happen. It's kind of like, do you know that movie Rashomon? It's an old Japanese movie, and it centers around a rape. I think it was made in the 40s. And it tells it from three perspectives: the victims, the perpetrators, and then sort of an omniscient point of view. And I always feel with stories like this, they've got to develop because we just don't know what we're going to see. A week later, we get another camera angle of Renee Good in her car, and she's like really taunting,
having a great
ICE,
time.
and she's having a great time in that car, and it's not just like this whoops, and then we learn also that the ICE agent who shot her had been dragged 6 months prior, and in that horrific event, probably thought he was going to die, if not get his arm ripped off.
33 stitches.
Yeah. And then so my question is, should this guy have been back out in the field 6 months later? Does he have some form of PTSD? I just think there's so much that we don't know. And I feel like both sides are retreating to their corners. If you're on the right, ICE is completely in the right. Watching Tom Homan with Tony Dokoupil the day that this happened with Renee Good, saying ICE never makes a mistake, ever. And then on the left, hearing that ICE is just a bunch of white supremacist thugs who are looking for anyone of color to terrorize and brutalize. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me.
Oh, man, I'm 100% on ICE's side. I don't see the nuance on this one. I feel like you don't want to get shot in the face by ICE. Don't try to run one down. Don't try to antagonize them. Don't inject yourself in the middle of a law enforcement operation, you fool. Everybody knows not to do that. Everybody knows not to do that. And everybody knows that these cops are being antagonized and might be a little on edge. Like in the law, we call it assumption of the risk. That's what I see Renee Good doing that day. It's not that I have no empathy for her family, but I have empathy for them because they had a dumbass mother who made very fucking dumb decisions that got her killed. Like that's how, to me, it's so clear. I'm one of those 67% more Republican-leaning people who are in favor of this. But as we pointed out on AM Update today and yesterday on the show, 53% of the populace is saying they're on the side of Renee Good. Like they think the ICE officer made a mistake and that he should be prosecuted, the majority. And that's all Democrats and independents. So you're not wrong that people are definitely seeing it vehemently differently. A new year means new financial goals like making sure your savings are secure and diversified. Will this be the year you decide to talk to someone from Birch Gold Group? They use an educational approach with a deep understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces pushing the dollar lower right now and gold higher, which is why they believe every American should own physical gold. So until January 30th, if you are a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, just text MK to 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you are still eligible for a rebate of up to $10,000. Consider making right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by January 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 and claim your eligibility today. Again, just text MK to the number 989898 to check it out. The woman, I said that one woman getting dragged from her car was in Florida only because that's the most recent. But we did show a video yesterday of this woman getting dragged by cops like, I have a brain injury, I have autism, I have everything. No, you don't. You don't. You were like 2 minutes earlier, you were in your car antagonizing them and you were fine. Only now that you're caught and getting dragged off are you suddenly disabled. But this woman down in Florida she takes the cake. Her name is Jennifer Cruz, and she decided it might be a good idea to punch a police officer in the face as she tried to valiantly guard illegals down in Florida. Unlike Minnesota, Florida does not F around. Like, you mess with a Florida ICE enforcement officer and you're going to regret it, which is exactly what happened to Jennifer Cruz, who, apart from being morbidly obese and in no condition to fight with grown, trained law enforcement officers, is rude and committed a felony. So here's how that went down.
Weak ass motherfucker! Don't you dare start kicking.
Place her in the police car. She's kicking the cops down. Antagonizing her, calling them weak ass motherfuckers, and they tase her.
Close. Lift your head up.
Lift your head up. kicking the police car. She displaced the camera. I mean, it's sad because this person considers herself some sort of weekend warrior, Jennifer Cruz, and she found out the hard way. This is a very bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing that I think about this so much because I do believe that most people, not all, there are definitely bad actors out there, but this is I think just the result of where certain media narratives have brought us. I think these agitators on the left truly believe they're doing the right thing. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think they hate America.
Oh, no, some of them do.
Some of them do. Some of them do. And some of them hate Trump and see this all through that lens. And, I think we might talk about one battle after another later, which folds into this really. But I think that they think they're really doing the right thing and that they're standing up for the most vulnerable among us. And I think those on the right feel like, no, we're absolutely doing the right thing. There are illegals here and there are bad actors.
They're molesting our children.
Yes.
They're molesting little children.
And need
Get
to be
out.
removed.
Yes.
I agree with you completely. But I was thinking a lot about in the aftermath of Martin Luther King's assassination, height of the civil rights movement. JFK had been assassinated just a few years prior, and Bobby Kennedy Jr. was due to give a speech that night, the night of the assassination. And all of his advisors said, don't do it. It's a powder keg. It's going to explode. It's going to erupt into violence. And he said, no, I want to do it. And he only had a couple of hours to really cogitate and think about what he wanted to say. And what he did say was to advocate for calm and encourage, as the Greeks said, to make gentle the world. And we lack that rhetoric now, I feel. And it
doesn't sound like Trump.
It's definitely not.
That would not be Trump's response to virtually anything.
We don't have anybody on any side, I feel, calling for that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I just feel like if they would stay at home and let ICE do their business, they'd get in and get out. If Minnesota would cooperate by turning over these criminals at the jail, which is what ICE has asked for, a lot of them get arrested for these child molestations and attempted murders. And instead of just calling ICE and saying, here they are, we detained them on a traffic violation, but it turns out there's a warrant for their arrest, or we know that they're a criminal, dangerous, illegal, they won't. So Tom Homan has no choice but to go into the community and track them down. And these people playing, wannabe cop are playing with fire. I just feel like it's very clear there's a duty by law enforcement to enforce the law. These people have broken the law, even if they've committed no additional crime. If they're here illegally, like the NPR report talks about someone who's afraid to leave her house, so they're bringing her groceries. She is, quote, an asylum seeker, which is another way of saying she's most likely just an illegal. The odds of this woman actually crossing a point of entry and declaring that she's here for asylum are extremely slim. This is just what they say after they get in here, trying to play on people's heartstrings. There's a way of handling that, and it's not to just cross the border illegally and hope that no one finds you. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.